Okay, well, good to be hosted here again. Such an honor.
I know it's a pleasure to have you back. I mean, you got to catch us up because before it, you were centered around, um, and again, for those of you watching, please introduce yourself before I just jump right in because they're like, who is this? They know you're David, but tell us who you are. You initially were part of, or you were running with Parliament Tutoring. Now tell us a little bit what's going on.
So yeah, thank you so much, Kizzy, for having me. This is a lot of fun. Rarely do I find people who are interested in hearing about this, so it's always fun to discuss it. Um, so yes, David Greenberg. I started a education services company called Parliament Tutors while I was in college about 15 years ago. Um, At the time, we provided private tutoring services for students and families at their home. Over the course of time, I was introduced to doing business with the government and started selling my education services to mostly DODEA, Department of Defense Education Activity. That introduced me to the world of GovCon. And through that, I learned that there are a lot more opportunities beyond the education services that I sold to do business with the government. Since, starting, selling winning my first contract, I don't know, about 10 plus years ago with Dodia, we've really branched into many more verticals where we continue to sell a lot of consulting services. I mean, what we do at our core with tutoring was coordinating people, logistics, sending people to students' homes, interviewing them, recruiting, professional development, the invoicing, the billing, yada, yada. So we were easily able to translate that into providing interpretation services, sending certified interpreters to different government agencies. And, and then again, we transitioned a little further, pivoted a little bit more, started providing kind of staffing services across a range of disciplines, a range of specialties, everything from environmental consulting to nursing services to, of course, education services. Today, we continue exploring new verticals and new opportunities where our skills and our capabilities lend themselves to the project management needed to do business with the government for any sort of service. So showing Kizzy here my very, very elementary, rough CRM for managing some of these opportunities. And I personally like using Google Docs and Excel more than something like Salesforce or Zoho or any number of opportunity management systems that you can use, just because we have full control over here. And I have a couple of people working with me, so we color code opportunities. Orange is one of my associates, Yoni, blue being Noah, yellow being myself. And I consistently monitor whether it's FedBid and SAM and the BPA requirements that get sent to us. And I put them on here for all of us to consider, review those scopes of work, and then ultimately pursue. Or some of them pursue. Of course, you're not going after all of these.
Right.
So
And did you
yeah.
have,
Mm-hmm.
for those of who those for all of those viewing, they may wonder like, oh my gosh, like how did you have background in this? Like how am I supposed to do this? So share with everyone because I know they're wondering, did you already have a background with the government or some kind of connection with the government before you jumped into this space?
So yeah, I think that's kind of a myth that you need some sort of special relationship, or that there's preference given, or that it's always given to the lowest priced person. Honestly, just like many of your students or counterparts, you're thinking, what are the chances of them actually awarding this to me? You know, and I think you're pleasantly surprised if you come up with something competitive and compelling, how good your chances in fact are.
And you're so spot on because what's great about this is like with me, our backgrounds aren't in HVAC. Your background's not necessarily in HVAC or in um, you know, nursing services. My background isn't in food safety, but we're able to provide the services, we're able to source. And so you're able to then win and diversify. And especially having this, and I can't wait for you to walk us through this. Having this and having team members involved in this is pivotal, because now you're really focused and your energy is really going where it needs to go instead of chasing things all over the place. So please, walk us through this. I love Google Sheets.
Yeah, you make some good points over there about, not needing to stay in your precise lane. It's something that I definitely subscribe to, is going completely all over the place and looking more at, what agency is this for? What deal size is this? What set asides are there? What's the period of performance? To determine if it's something that we want to pursue. That being said, I also do encourage, if you're winning your first or your second, that you probably do want to stay in your lane. If you are an educator, you want to be looking at Bureau of Indian Education or DoDEA contracts. If you are a graphic artist, you want to be looking at those graphic opportunities in nurse, or if you're a nurse, do something in healthcare, pharmacist and pharmacy, because those opportunities are still going to be abundant. Maybe once you start winning and you start, being able to explore some things outside of your immediate scope, then the world is yours. But I would personally recommend staying in, doing something that about, just so that you don't get burned or you don't do a bad job, and then in terms of this world, of really diversifying yourself and responding to things across this range of disciplines, your job really becomes project management and personnel management more than actually the nursing services or the Farsi instruction or the playground installation, etc. And going back to this, if you want, that, like I was saying, this is where we track the opportunities we're considering. It's a little sparser and a little more all over the place than we generally would like. These aren't none of these opportunities really scream at me like, oh, you're gonna win this, or this is a great juicy one. And I think that's a little bit of a symptom of the end of the fiscal year and being a little sparse in new opportunities. And I think that's actually changing, as soon as next week. This week I've already noticed a little bit more action. So I could get back into how I might approach one of these in a minute, but just to show your viewers, we'll go into after we've put together a proposal and submitted it, they'll go into the submitted column, and over here we'll be able to track when we submitted it, what our level of confidence is, what our quote is, what our subcontractor quote is, or what our costs are, net revenue. I have some salespeople, we've got commissions. Some of these opportunities require bids. Performance or bid bonds, line of credit. So those are those costs outlined. There's a link to some of our proposals that I could show you in a second. Of course, the information from Sam. So again, these each correlate to something that's been posted on Sam here, or again on FedBid, or mailed to or emailed to us, or whatever it is. Here's one that I'm excited about that I've talked to you about in the past, like these exhibits. So this is for the Battle of Port Royal exhibit at the U.S. Marine Corps Museum in Parris Island. They need a new 3D animation and the box that it goes in, an interpretive box for their visitors. So it's something that we reached out to our fabricator in South Florida. We have a cool fabrication team over here. We work also with a 3D animator and put together a proposal, and we're waiting to hear back. So that's the stage that's at. Of course, we're excited about our awards. I was just telling Kizzy, we had a really, really strong September with 13 awards across a range of different sizes. And again, such a range of services. I was telling her, here's some cold storage for NOAA, for fish seizures of illegal fishing operations. Here's this is for something in Southwest Florida. This was AC unit replacement. a fencing project in Ames, Iowa. This is one of those exhibits. It's a heritage educational display for Fairchild Air Force Base in Washington. Roof replacement. This is another exhibit design project for Lake Wapapello in Missouri. This is a follow-on and if this is just too in depth, I don't know how much information your people want, you know.
But this is great. I mean, because here's the thing that I really, really hope all my amazing GovCon winners are seeing. Number one, show me someone online who's ever shown you this.
Right. I like to be an open book.
There's no one. There's no one out there who will show you what's going on in the kitchen. You not only showed like
I'm gonna go one step further here. I'm gonna get your viewers really excited.
Good. I'm excited because this is major. This is what's going on with his companies. These are opportunities he bid on, opportunities he won. You saw the pricing, you saw the commission, you saw all of these things that come up again and again, because it's easy to say I won or I bid. It's very challenging for most to actually show you what's going on. And so David has really presented the, quintessential open kitchen, and he's showing us everything. And so I love this. So show us some more.
Yeah, let's reverse engineer a win. This will really open some of your people's eyes. All right. So we've got